Hi everybody, thank you for watching the video. As you can see, this is some recent footage from the WNPF Lifetime Drug-Free Nationals in Bordentown on September 9th, 2018. Now I know this is coming to a rather surprise, but I literally just decided last minute, the week of, to do this competition. Um, just for a little redemption, and just wanted to go into it just for just for fun, just to do it just for the sake of why is it that I compete. And I really just wanted to approach it with just a more relaxed mindset, and didn't do any water cutting or anything. So I came in right at weight, and just wanted to just have a good time. And that actually benefited in my favor, believe it or not. I opened up with 625, and that went well. And I went for a 7. I told myself I was going to go past 700, and I pulled 7. And I found out, based off of Openpowerlifting.org, that in the history of powerlifting, in the deadlift only category in my weight class, I, with that lift, will make it officially the heaviest lift in the deadlift only 181 division in the history of powerlifting. And when I found this out, I was very humbled. I was very humbled because this is something that I didn't expect to happen. This is something that is a very monumental achievement. It's not the number one achievement I want, but it's an accolade that now I can say that I achieved. And it's funny that with this particular competition, because 2 weeks ago I did the Wnpf Expo, and it didn't go as well as I wanted to, and I was dehydrated, and I put a lot of weight on my shoulders, and in this competition I didn't, and I just went in with a really just lax mindset, and just, why is it that I do this? And it was for fun, because I enjoy it. But it's funny because I feel like everything in life happens for a reason. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do well at that competition because this was meant to happen. Or if I did well at that competition, would have I ever done this one? Not getting into details, but there's been something that has been on my mind for about a year now, that I have dealt with, and struggled with mentally, and has been a battle that I've dealt with throughout my life, in other instances, but especially mostly in the past year. And I realized something that day, that regardless of what's happened over the past year, regardless of what obstacles I've overcome, that I was actually able to finally move forward. And it's funny because that came along with this particular competition. And it immediately brings me back to just when I first got to 700 pounds, and I've been chasing that for 4 years, and that was something, and it was a burden that I had to let go. And something else in my life that came, that was also a burden on me for a year, that I was faced with that same day. And it was the ultimate test. The ultimate test mentally, because I knew that in order for me to overcome anything I want to set my mind to, I had to face my biggest challenges and my biggest fears, my biggest hardships. And ironically, that same day, I was faced with that. And in that exact moment when I had to face it, I had the option of letting it overcome me or embracing it and facing it head on and overcoming it. I was faced with that. And I came to the realization that I needed to put it to rest. I needed to stop suppressing whatever it is, what I was holding on to, and I wasn't going to let that take away from a day that was supposed to give me peace of mind. And ironically, a day that I approached with a very lax mindset immediately turned into a day that could have been one of the most mental struggles I've ever had in my life. And it was in that moment where I had a choice of letting this overcome me or if I overcome it. To conquer or be conquered. To sink or swim. To fight or to give up. I feel that the choice I made with fighting and embracing and accepting what it is was the greatest decision I ever made. And in a sense, poetic justice, because with fighting that and overcoming it led to my opportunity to achieve something that I am very proud of. And just like with, reaching that milestone, finally getting to 700 pounds, letting me get that burden off of my chest, I think with this milestone helped and assisted with me being able to finally let that burden go. And I'm happy and I'm proud that it's something I accomplished. And it lets me know that I can overcome anything. You are going to be faced with many, many things that you will consider difficult in your life. You will be, eventually at some point in your life, you will stand in front of something that you feel is immovable, something you can't get around, something you can absolutely not face, something that you feel you struggle with from the day you wake up to the day you go to sleep, until the evening you go to sleep, and every single day, in and out. As much as it's cliche, as much as it is said, it's really all about not giving up. Even if you feel like you're at your worst and you feel like you're at your lowest of lows, you cannot give up. It is not easy. It is not something that is a walk in the park. It is not something that you can just snap your fingers and to be over. The challenge is when you have something in front of you that is defeating you mentally, are you strong enough mentally to turn that around and overcome it? That is something that I've been dealing with for a year. Not getting into personal details on what it entails, but that is something that I've been dealing with. It could be a mental struggle that you deal with every day. It could be a mental struggle you deal with for a day, a week, a month. This has been something I've been dealing with for a year. And in order for me to achieve something that I can say that I can put on my resume as something I've accomplished that I could take with me to my grave, I had to overcome this obstacle. And I had to face it head on. One of the most positive days of my life also turned into one of the most hardest, one of the most challenging. Because it was literally just everything I've said put to test. And how do you deal with it? Pain, ladies and gentlemen, is something that is very hard to overcome. Anger, depression, anxiety. Things, or just anything that you may perceive as struggle for you, it is never easy to overcome. That is why I always say believe in yourself, because there are going to be times where you are faced with challenges that nobody can help you with. There are going to be times where you are going to be faced with obstacles that the only way you can overcome it is you. And that is where you really find out who you are and what you're capable of and what you can become, what defies you, what is written in stone in your legacy and who you are. I believe that when you are faced with those challenges, you have to embrace them in order to overcome them. If you try to suppress it, if you turn and run away, no matter how far the other direction you go, it will always be there if you look back. The only way you can overcome it is if you push through and you face it head on. And it takes a lot of courage. It takes a lot of courage to face your fears, to face something that you deem as impossible to overcome. It takes a lot of courage to face it. But the greatest feeling is not only once you face it and you go to battle and you overcome it. The greatest feeling not only is being able to overcome what that is. The greatest feeling is knowing that now you overcome that obstacle. You can move forward. I think nothing gives you a better peace of mind than knowing that you can move forward. And many things in life are going to come and may come in different factors and different forms of struggle that you may deem is hard for you. you're not always going to have the same answer. But you will be aware, you will be informed and knowing what it takes to overcome that obstacle. And that should give you the strength, the determination, the willpower to find a way to keep pushing, to overcome, so you can move forward. I am happy to say that on September 9th of 2018, for something that I have been battling in my head for a year, I have overcome and I can move forward. No matter what, even when you feel like you are in that corner and the world is ending and there's absolutely nothing else for you to do, you feel like you have nowhere to turn, don't ever lose sight of yourself. Don't ever lose sight of what is possible. Don't ever lose sight of believing you can do it. I believe those who are the strongest mentally are those who that will still hold on to hope when everybody else doesn't. Will still hold on to hope when nobody else thinks it is possible to overcome. You have to spearhead and be that beacon to drive past that hardship. That is why I always say believe in yourself. That is why I always say inspire others. Because you never know what little hope you may have that you use on yourself to overcome something may be all the hope somebody else needs to conquer theirs. I would say by far out of all the competitions I've done, ironically, the one that I've taken the most lax approach to is the one that has impacted me the most as an individual this year. And it will be something I remember for the rest of my life. I do hope every single one of you that watches this video overcomes an obstacle, a fear, a struggle that you can learn from and build off of to accomplish whatever it is you want, to not deter you away from facing something head on or achieving something, going after something you want, and giving you the opportunity to instill that same mentality, same approach into your family, your friends, and those who you ever come into your life. Believe in yourself. Never give up. Even when it feels like all hope is lost, don't lose that hope. Because that little bit of hope can go a long way. With that being said, just right back into the swing of things. Happy on this milestone, happy on this accomplishment, but the real training begins now. For what I've been training for this entire year, the one that counts, the one that matters the most. Now it's time to prove everything I've said, any advice, anything I preached on this channel to come through fruition and be true. It all starts with believing in myself. I have 9 weeks left to either give up or overcome and move forward. I know where my head's at. I know where I want to go. if you're faced with the same obstacle, whatever it may be, I don't give a shit what's going on. Don't ever give up. And you will overcome. Thank you for watching the video, and take care.